So XRP is the first top 10 token to recover from the momentary fake crash, the liquidation event. By the way, do you like my new microphone? Very makeshift. I thought it looked cool. I've still got some coffee in there, by the way. Anyway, so like I said before, we have a lot happening this month for XRP. Today, you can read in the news that Ripple and Control Alt have come together to tokenize some of the very luxurious real estate in Dubai, in the Middle East. And this is a very luxurious industry with trillions of dollars. In fact, the estimate at the moment is 16 trillion in terms of the potential that could happen on the XRP ledger. And more importantly is the fact that this is the first time actually that a government real estate agency in the Middle East is partnering to issue deeds on the blockchain. And of course, they've done it with Ripple. Now, somebody left me an interesting message, of which I mostly agree with actually, that yes, there's going to be a lot of tokenization on the blockchain. There's going to be real world assets. There's going to be payments and stuff, but they're going to be multiplayers and there's a lot of competition. While I agree that there's going to be multiple players, and I hope for at least one other company that can match the proliferation of Ripple, I don't agree that all of these other companies are equally staked or have an equal amount of access and connections as Ripple and the XRP ledger are. For example, when you talk about real world asset tokenization, of course, the technology is there, right? With the likes of Stellar, Ondo Finance, even some combinations of Solana and Chainlink, and some of these other setups, right? But tell me, how many of these companies do you see in the news day in, day out, making these connections with government agencies, with international companies, and actually making things happen? I mean, when was the last time that you heard that Stellar or Stellar Foundation it made deals with someone in Qatar or in Brazil or any of those places to tokenize anything? We know that the technology is there. We know that Stellar, the blockchain, is a sister blockchain to XRP ledger. So the technology is there for sure. We know that when it comes to oracles, we know that Chainlink is the king of that. And Chainlink could, provide the missing pieces for a lot of other blockchains that are not efficient at dragging data from the blockchain to actually make that happen. We've seen collaborations between Swift and Chainlink, JP Morgan and Chainlink, and all of these other places, right? But the question you must ask yourself is, where are the big agreements? Where are the big documents that are being signed? Where are the big collaborations that we're seeing pretty much on a daily basis with Ripple, right? On a daily basis, big announcements from banks, national central banks. We're talking about European, MICA, bank charters, back-to-back stuff. So yes, in theory and on paper, these tokens do have the technology and the potential is there for there to be multiplayer, but the competition is just not on the same level, I'm sorry to say. And this is one of the reasons why, for instance, people who know this stuff and understand the role of XRP in all of this are so diamond-handed, because it's just not close. It's not even close. And shout out to XRP, already touching $3 a few hours after the supposed crash and liquidation event. Unfortunately, the leverages are going in again. So it is possible that we might see another dip, which is again always a normal thing in these pump times, especially if Bitcoin goes and dips again, as Bitcoin starts to almost touch 120k again. The leverage is coming back because people are greedy. It just is what it is. Man, London is so beautiful, by the way. Look at this. I'm right in the middle of the city, but I can still access areas at this green with this large trees and canopies and stuff. These sort of old vintage chairs. Really cool stuff. Anyway, where was I? So, um, XRP, man, guys, we're in for a proper bonanza because, things are just kicking off now. And yes, we're going to get these shakeout events where liquidations are going to happen because of the leverage. These liquidation events, when they dip, are going to cascade downwards because they're going to trigger stop losses and stuff. But you can always tell because the dips are short-lived. They're bought up by the establishment that are causing the dips in the first place. Obviously, a lot of this is responding to Bitcoin and some of the macro events. Every day there's always some sort of bad news on the macro level, and the whales will capitalize on this and use that to cause a little bit of FUD. Again, the way around that is to make sure that you're dollar cost averaging and not financial advice, of course, your own research. And be very careful with leverage. There's nothing wrong with playing a little bit of leverage. I do it now and again. I told you guys I have a Mexi account amongst others. And now and again, they'll airdrop me some USDT or whatever. That's what happens for pretty much everyone that uses Mexi. And this bonus you can use to do leverages and whatever, pay for some of the fees and what have you. Most of the time I lose, but sometimes I do win. But then, it's tiny amounts and who cares? If I make a big profit out of that, I use that to dollar cost average back into my XRP stash and I call it a day. So, not financial advice, your own research, a little at a time, dollar cost average, dollar cost average, dollar cost average, and wait for the glory days. And that's what I do. We're halfway through July already. It's amazing how quickly time flies in this place. And it's only a matter of time, man, before the God candles arrive. Not financial advice. I'll see you in the next one.